Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast, and welcome to the review show where we have a look back at everything that happened last weekend in boxing. That weekend, that was Jermall Charlo and Caleb Plant headlining a card in the States, Sugar Nunez in Japan, as well as Murodjon Akhmadaliev having his first fight just before Naoya Inoue. Next, as well as that, we're going to be doing a refresh on our top 10 heavyweight rankings because we haven't done it in a little while. So for all that good stuff, subscribe and follow as always. But before we get into the action, just a quick word from today's episode sponsor. Alpha Progression is a science-based custom workout app that is the perfect tool to help you progress faster and more efficiently in the gym.
As the highest rated fitness app in Germany, now available worldwide, it will generate plans, track your progress, and has videos to show you exactly how to do every exercise in your gym.
With over 1,000 trillion different exercise combinations available, Alpha Progression will provide you with the same services that a personal trainer can for just the price of a pint every month.
And even better, you guys, as our listeners, can get 20% off with the link and code in our description. So if you're like me and you desperately need to gain some muscle, perhaps you're like Ben and you're looking to shed a few pounds, check out Alpha Progression. And now into the good stuff, the boxing, the stuff we're here for. I don't know where to start this weekend. First of all, it feels weird because I wasn't here last week, and it's been a little bit kind of up and down or whatever, and we didn't know we were here. We were here. You weren't here.
No, I was.
We've been all over the place.
We did the preview online as well, so we're back in studio, which is always exciting. And I think the main kind of start is Jermall Charlo, Caleb Plant, that duo setting up for a fight between the two of them, the PBC. Yep. Jermall Charlo start off with, did his job, didn't he? Did what he had to do?
I think, exactly. Did his job. And then it's over. You're like, all right, I've done my bit now. Over to you, Caleb Plant. And obviously we know what happened in the main event. But what was it? Jermall Charlo's only fought, twice since 2021, I think?
So this was his second fight in, sort of 3 years. He had a comeback fight against David Benavidez, his older brother, which he won fairly unimpressively. And then, now he's back in. There was a fight with Canelo meant to happen, didn't happen, etc., etc., etc. But at the end of the day, he's a 33-0 former world champion. He's not bad, is he?
Yeah, I said that last week, and you forget that he's undefeated 33-0, but done his job. I think he'd put a bit of a statement out there ready for
he had to,
getting that
didn't he?
Yeah,
Caleb Plant fight, but biggest upset of the year so far, I think.
Yeah, in that main event, probably.
Is it though, Resendiz?
Yeah, probably. It was weird, actually. I wrote a preview for Boxing News for the Charlo fight, and I didn't do one for the Plant fight, so I can't really comment on that. But I said that his opponent had the minerals that if Charlo wasn't at his best, he could cause him a problem. And I got it wrong. I didn't predict that, but I said it was a possibility, and actually it was Caleb Plant's opponent, Resendiz, that caused him issues. And more than caused him issues, he did just beat him, didn't he, really?
Yeah. He battered him. Let's put it straight. I scored at 117, 111. Split decision, mine. When they announced it was a split decision, you sat there and you're thinking, how can that be a split decision? That was clearly Resendiz's fight. And one thing I found interesting that the commentator said that Caleb Plant, brought in Resendiz as a sparring partner as he prepared for Canelo. And you could just see the resemblance. And I'm not comparing him, obviously, but there is ability of the come forward pressure fighter that Sam's a very big fan of. And I did note in my notes that that's probably one of Sam's favourite fighters now is Resendiz, the way he comes forward and puts the pressure on your opponent.
Yeah, he's in the conversation. He's that style, isn't it? And we talk about Jaime Munguia, who we might talk about later, and he lost to Bruno Saras, and did we talk about him? That was a punch from the gods that ended that one. And you look at Liam Cameron Whittaker when that was an upset. Yeah. Liam Cameron started hurting Whittaker and looked like he might stop him. Obviously, there was the controversy there, but this one he actually just beat him. It wasn't that he landed a great shot and it kind of changed that he just beat him.
Yeah, it's a different kind of loss, and like you said, compared to Saras's win, where it was just that one punch out of a 12-round contest, compared to he just got outboxed. And I think I was more shocked than anything because we seen Caleb Plant in our last fight against Macumbi. I said last week I thought he looked really good in her and looked back to his best, and I thought, right, this is where we're going to see him kick on now again, ready to set up for another big fight against Charlo. But he's back to square one and rebuilding again now.
Yeah, he's a weird style in the sense of I feel like when he's on his day, he's as good as anyone, but his day doesn't come every time. And if he was able to capture kind of that form every single time he went out there, he'd be a serious problem to anyone, really. But he can't, and he was. I suppose it was an off night. It wasn't. You wouldn't say, oh my god, he was just horrendous. Resendez did the work he had to do, but he wasn't at his best, was he? He didn't seem at his best.
If you go what I mean, Resendez is fighting now to get to that next level, and that his aspirations of a world championship, and it felt like Caleb Plant, in a way, there wasn't like an arrogance about him, but he was just, the way he walked to the ring, the way he was acting in the ring, he was a little bit stiff and a little bit like, well, this is going to be a walk in the park. I felt early on in that fight, and he hurt him in one of the rounds. I can't remember what round. It could have been round 9. Round 9 in boxing at the moment has got a lot of themes to it. But yeah, Caleb Plant now, he's going to be probably waking up on that Sunday morning, probably thinking, what have I done?
Yeah.
I just probably blew one of the biggest purses that I'll probably get in my career. But it's the same, going back to so many other fighters, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, on the same card, they win their fights, they fight each other. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia just recently on that Times Square card were on the same card, were meant to fight each other, and it's the same with this story. And it just shows again that in boxing, you can't write it. You can't just go, right, you two are going to do your fights, and then you're going to fight later in the year. You can't do it because, well, we've named our channel after it. Everyone's got a puncher's chance, and it's all on the day, ain't it? In any sort of sport, it's always on the day, and that's what happened on Saturday night. Resendez caught Caleb Plant probably cold and probably, lack of confidence. But again, he had an incredible performance in his last fight, and you're thinking, what happened?
Yeah, but unfortunately in boxing, people are pretty fickle. You're only as good as your last fight, and this is now his last fight. Charlo was sort of saying he thinks the fight makes sense anyway, and people enjoy it anyway.
I think he's saying that.
And he's saying the fans will still care for it. And I suppose we can talk as fans. Do we still care for a Charlo Plant fight? Or is that a slight kind of British thing coming in that we're sort of maybe less interested in it? What do you think?
I think people will still be interested in watching it. I think more so American boxing fans rather than British boxing fans. They could definitely still build it, but I think the fact that he lost, and in the way he lost on Saturday, takes that bit of shine off it in terms of looking forward to it now.
Let's put it like this: if the PBC by some miracle decided, you know what, I'm going to put it on pay-per-view, but only for like 10, 15 quid, are you paying it?
No,
exactly.
But then again, in America, that would be $80, and would American fans buy it?
No, but that's what I mean. If they by some miracle went, Joe, we're going to make this really affordable, I still don't think it sells a huge amount. I just think, but Charlo does. He sort of said it himself. He's had 3 years out. His route to where he is now hasn't had many big wars. I can't think of any tough fights he's had necessarily en route, and so there's not a huge amount of miles on the clock. He might be 35. But there is still a bit in there, and I wouldn't be against a fight like Canelo somewhere down the line if that he's as big a fight as there is in the super middleweight division. Jermall Charlo, I'd say at this point.
I think he's a great opponent for Diego Pacheco.
Yeah,
once he gets through Macumbi, I think that would be a very good fight.
Christian and Billy, maybe is the other one. Those two are the kind of the ones that they're waiting for an opportunity, but because Canelo's Canelo, they haven't had one. Either one of those I'd see against Charlo.
But again, Canelo's out of it now, ain't he? He's out of the equation for probably until May next year.
Well, and he'll probably fight Crawford again, depending on what happens on that. So he's tied up for a little while. We'll have to. Hopefully, the bodies do what they have to do, and they strip some people and get some good fights lined up that people deserve. Elsewhere, the big kind of talking point, and all roads in the sort of bantamweight to featherweight division lead to the monster, Naoya Inoue. Akhmadaliev, again, did his job. He won the fight. The fight signed against Inoue. They missed a possible banana skin in the sense of this one in that form. But I don't think he showed the minerals that suggest that's going to be anywhere near the fight that Matchroom have been trying to pretend it is. He was okay. He made his opponent miss a lot, Castillo, but he didn't make him pay. He's just got very powerful hands, doesn't he? Akhmadaliev, more than anything. He's a good boxer, but he's got weight in those hands, and when he catches you enough times, he can get you out there.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing they'd probably be riding on is the fact that he can. I think he's shown in the past that he can hurt people if he lands. And in a way, to some sense, has shown, especially over recent fights, that if he does get caught, he can get dropped. But also at the same time, he's shown the sort of composure to bounce back from her. And the 2 times he has been dropped, he's got up and just flattened his opponent afterwards. So, to be honest, I don't think I think it'll be exciting for most boxing fans to look forward to, because it's always good to watch a Inoue fight, but I think it's another one he'll get through pretty comfortably.
Yeah, the Neri knockdown was different though, wasn't it? Because that was off balance. He was knocked off balance. There was no sense of him hurt with that punch. No. The punch in his last fight, you would not have blamed him if it had taken a chunk out of him. Fortunately for him, you can take a chunk out of him and he'll take 3 out of you and he'll be fine.
How many times as well have we seen a fighter get knocked down, first time in their professional career, and get straight back up?
Yeah, exactly.
And their legs aren't with them. Inoue's there calmly, takes a breath, he's on his knees, he knows where he is, and then gets back up and then goes and does what he does. Akhmadaliev, on the other hand, on Saturday night, I felt like we talk a lot about boxers planning. He was fighting on Saturday night and he knew what's ahead of him. He knew that he's got that Inoue fight and he's not taking any risk or anything. And
yeah, true. I didn't think about that.
To be honest, I didn't even know he was fighting last weekend, because it seemed like he was heading away on that Mexican card over in Guadalajara, I think it was. And for him to be active again is good, but that fight against Inoue, for boxing fans, I think is a great fight. But, is it going to catch the mainstream media sort of mind? I don't think so. But for us as pure boxing fans, I think it's a great watch. And it's a fight where people could, you're going to see it online, people could be questioning whether Inoue has the minerals and all that to beat Akhmadaliev. Could Akhmadaliev cause a massive upset? That's going to be the discussions going up to that build-up. But like we said, Inoue's the monster. We know it's like him on a tin. You read the back of the tin, you know what you get with it. And yeah, listen, I think that's a great fight down the line. And, that could even be on Riyadh season.
He signed that kind of contract that we've kind of seen nothing since. I think the thing is, with Inoue, we've kind of said it over and over again, and it's so daft because Akhmadaliev's the one that fought this weekend, but it's still Inoue, because he's just that guy. But and he bangs views, but that's another thing.
Does.
But no,
he does. Fair play.
The thing with Inoue, if he's talked about he's staying at super bantamweight until he can't make that weight anymore. So as far as we're aware, he's staying at super bantamweight, and unless you're asking Bam Rodriguez to move up to super bantam, Junto Nakatani to move up to super bantam,
2 great fights,
or Nick Ball to move down or Inoue to move up. If you're talking staying at super bantamweight, Akhmadaliev is probably as good a fight as there is out there. Sam Goodman we were supposed to see, and there was the cuts and the issues, and that's a decent fight, but it's as good a fight as you get for Inoue at that weight class, realistically, right?
Yeah, I think he's gone through pretty much every fighter there is in that weight class.
Yeah, he's clear. Is that old Reaper picture, the one that all the boxers do when you go through the doors, and that corridor is as long as it gets. It's there's so many people he's gone through, anyone with any kind of name he's gone through, and until we see Junto Nakatani make a jump, Bam Rodriguez make a jump, or him make a jump up to featherweight, we've said it before, we don't see anyone causing him any problems. So this is as good as it gets. He comes with the puncher's chance, Akhmadaliev. But I think the problem with his money shot in a Inoue fight would be the body. But I don't think Inoue's going to be...
Won't allow him, will he?
He's not going to give up the body, and if he does, he can take that shot. It's conditioning. You condition your body. You can't condition your chin.
I think Nakatani moving up makes the most sense for the next fight after the Akhmadaliev fight.
Is he fighting this weekend?
He's fighting this weekend coming. That is a phenomenal fight for Japan, by the way. That's a huge fight.
That's a Tokyo Superdome fight.
Oh, big time. Yeah, that is huge. So, hopefully that happens down the line. And funny, just again, this is Akhmadaliev's fight this weekend, and we've hijacked to talking almost entirely about Inoue.
I think when he fought in Monaco as well, it was like we talked about Akhmadaliev's fight, and it was like more about Inoue.
Yeah,
it's just what Inoue's that big of a name.
He's just that guy. Yeah. And then speaking of Japan, Sugar Nunez, Eduardo Nunez made the trip over, got the fight win. Great fight. We were saying just before, probably the fight of the weekend this weekend, or the sort of standout fight.
Midweek fight, wasn't it? Wednesday afternoon.
It was a good fight. It was a good win for Nunez. Important win. Puts him in a really good spot in that super featherweight division. But more importantly, great fight for the fans.
Yeah, incredible pressure fighter, and so tough as well. I think that was something that I took from that fight, was he wasn't afraid, and he kept coming forward and all that, and just a great performance. And there's obviously a lot of talk now about Anthony Kakachi didn't want that fight, and after watching that on Wednesday afternoon, you can probably understand why Kakachi went down the route of Lee Wood instead of waiting. That's obviously number one priority.
For the audio listeners, that was me making the money simple. For
that's obviously the reasoning, but there's obviously, he's like thinking, I don't know if I want to fight Nunez. Let's send him over to Japan. Let's see what he does over there. He's the away fighter. He could not get the decision or something, and then I'll fight the winner of that fight or something like that. he can't keep ignoring him now. I think that's something that Kakashi and
he's not so Nunez was the mandatory, wasn't he?
yeah, but what I mean is,
But he's now gone and fought for the IBO.
he was
so
offered Kakashi was offered
Yeah,
Nunez,
yeah.
wasn't he? And Kakashi went no.
Yeah, but only,
That's why. But,
only because Nunez was in a mandatory position. But now Nunez is the IBF world champion, so Kachachi can ignore him if he wants. He doesn't offer
Yeah.
him. He doesn't owe him a mandatory fight. But
just a great fight though.
I think we've seen Kachachi been looked after pretty damn well and propelled to where he is now because of Riyadh season, and that is in my mind, that is a Riyadh season undercard fight. Kachachi versus Sugar Nunez. You could pay Kachachi enough money to go, yeah, go on then. Because he's been completely honest. That's what he wants from the end of his career. He doesn't care about, you can't.
How old is he? 36? 34?
Yeah, he's up there, and you can't spend your belts. I mean, you could sell them on eBay, but you shouldn't. So he wants the money that you can look after his family with and his kids. And I think Riyadh Season would pay him handsomely to do so. And actually, I think he's got every shot against Sugar Nunez.
Great fight.
He's just got so much power in those hands, both fighters.
That'd make for a perfect 5v5 card.
Yeah,
fight,
exactly.
Which isn't happening now, I think.
No. But it would have been a great fight.
We're filming this. Yesterday was the 1 year anniversary, wasn't it? On Monday.
Was it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they sent a cake to him this morning, didn't they?
Did they?
That's
good.
I still don't know if Frank Smith's dressed up in that maid outfit.
I was going to say, maybe he delivered the cake in a maid outfit. I don't know.
And it was a year ago to yesterday as well, Angelo Dragoni. That incredible win in the Vale. But
Sugar Nunez reminds me of like a smaller weight Artur Beterbiev.
yes.
In the way
he's quite efficient, isn't he? He's not
like... I watched what was the fight Wednesday morning?
Yeah.
It's just the way, like, sort of similar to Beterbiev. I'm not saying like they're the same sort of fight, but similar to Beterbiev, he just sort of like stalks you around the ring, and like you've got to be switched on constantly. And it's one of those things I think of, because you're working so hard just to stay away from him and stay away from the power and the pressure, it tires you so much. The constant, like at one point he will get you, and I think that was what the difference was on Wednesday.
And he almost did as well. He was hurt late on in that fight, his opponent, and I wouldn't have been shocked if he got the stoppage win, but he just, those angles he creates left to right, and you're there standing and he's over there, and you're like, oh, how the hell is he over there? And then black, the hook, and incredible fighter. Another fight that could be made, but we were talking Matchroom versus Matchroom, so they probably won't. Nunez against Ray Ford. That would be a hell of a watch, that would.
It would be a great fight, but like we said, I don't see it happening unless they both kind of have world titles. I mean, it'd be an awkward
I'd
one.
like to see Kakachi and Nunez in Belfast.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd make for a great night.
But have they got big stadiums over in Belfast?
I don't know the stadiums off the top of my head.
Ulster Rugby,
but they will do. Yeah, they certainly will do.
Imagine that.
Pack the undercard with fighters from Belfast. Or...
Kakachi, in a way, deserves a homecoming because he's like the away corner fighter for a while. So it's a perfect fight. But how many times have fighters taken a homecoming fight not against a fighter that is coming to win?
Yeah,
how many times have we seen that?
We'll see a fight either way, which would be interesting to see. But the really important thing for this episode is
what everyone's been waiting for:
the top 10 heavyweights. We haven't done a top 10 rankings in a while, and that's why we wanted to do it today.
I think the last time we did that, I did an interview and asked the fighter about it.
yeah. Since then we've been scarred. But no, what we're going to do is we're going to pitch our top 10 from 1 through 10. And we're going to have to agree on every number, and then we'll give the Ultimate Puncher's Chance top 10. We're going to start it off easy, I imagine. The number 1 heavyweight in the world.
Oh, we're going 1 to 10, are we?
1 to 10. 1 to 10. The number 1 heavyweight in the world is?
Oleksander Usyk.
Oleksander Usyk.
It's Oleksander Usyk. That was nice and easy. Yeah. Why is it Oleksander Usyk?
Because he beats everyone.
Yeah.
He beats everyone for fun, it seems like.
Cruiserweight and every other weight.
Yeah,
he's pound for pound the best fighter in the world at the moment. I think number 1.
He's certainly in the conversation.
Because of the names, I'm going off the names now. He's beaten and coming up the weight categories and all that.
But
it's the jump from cruiserweight to heavyweight compared to the lower weight.
It is impressive. It is very, very impressive. But you could argue.
Hang on, are you arguing that you potentially were thinking about putting Dubois as number 1 there?
No. I'm saying Usyk's maybe not number 1 pound for pound.
All right.
We'll find out July 12th who's the number 1 heavyweight in the world when Usyk
19th.
fights Dubois. Is it 19th? Was it scheduled for? I can't remember. Ignore me.
Those 2 weeks in boxing is
unbelievable. But going on to number 2, is it the daddy?
I've got Daniel Dubois too.
Daniel Dubois is number 2, yes.
I've got Danny Dubois as well. Nice all. No, it's crazy.
I think, listen, the performance against AJ was, I think we were all sat there and we weren't expecting it.
Yeah, if someone came to you after that Usyk fight or even after the Joe Joyce fight, tapped you on the shoulder and said, that man is going to be very close to an undisputed title. Yeah, okay, good one. Yeah,
Get lost, mate.
Yeah.
You would think it would be Joe Joyce, wouldn't you? But
he has one of the best jabs in heavyweight boxing.
Yeah.
He's such a big puncher, and I said it, and you all laughed at me. I think Daniel Dubois has a better shot at beating Usyk than Fury ever did. I believe that because I think.
Do you think that's all confidence though?
Yeah,
That he's the confidence that he's got, not the fighter he is, but the confidence he's coming into the fight with.
I think it's like true confidence as well.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like him trying to just hype himself up. I think he actually
genuinely believes it. Yeah, and
Why
I think
shove him? Why shove him if you don't believe it?
Whoever
that you can
in
beat
his
him?
team or the collection of people in his
it's not
team and
Charles,
his
isn't it?
family and around him that were able to convince Daniel Dubois after those losses, no, you are the guy, you are a big hitting heavyweight, you've got the confidence, you've got the ability, and then to go through Jarrell Miller, to go through the fights he has to where he is now is unbelievable. And I just do think, I genuinely do believe that no one else, Fury was never going to outbox Usyk in my mind. And Dubois is never going to outbox Usyk. But who out of Dubois or Fury has more power in their hands? Daniel Dubois. And so, in theory, if that's the only way you can beat Usyk, which I believe it is just by hurting him, then I think Daniel Dubois has a better shot than Fury.
I can't wait for that preview episode.
Yeah, well,
Because I feel like one of us is going to make a very bold prediction.
Possibly, and I'll run it back. And I might just be saying this because I'm hopefully meeting the big man in a couple of days, so I can show him this clip. But
and you want the free pair of trainers in.
Tyson Fury is my number 3.
Right, this is where
I've got Tyson Fury as number 3 as well.
I've got that vacant because I was going to put Tyson Fury there, but technically he's retired, and I'm going off the word of what he said that he's retired.
No, but exactly. If anyone, if I don't know, the WBC have said, yeah, Tyson Fury's retired, cool, sound. But because Tyson Fury said it, I'm not believing it.
If he isn't retired, or if he is retired,
he isn't retired.
I would have Parker as number 3, but because you two have put him there and I had it vacant, Tyson Fury number 3.
So we'll agree with Tyson Fury number 3 because we all don't believe he's retired.
No,
and the only loss is to Usyk.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah,
yeah.
He had, you could argue if he's still available, and he is still, you would put him number 2 possibly. But the fact that Daniel Dubois has an IBF world champion, has an IBF world title, you kind of have to put him in 2.
Would Dubois
I'd like to see Dubois Fury. I think Dubois now would beat Fury. Yeah,
that'd be a great fight, mind. I'd love to watch that fight.
Would be good.
Frank Warren would be rubbing his hands together.
Imagine the money they'd be making.
Nearly as much as they'd be making from a Fury AJ fight. But yeah, no, I would 100% get behind that. Number 4, you've kind of teased it.
Joseph Parker.
Yeah, I've got Joseph Parker as well.
Joseph Parker. And this was one that was kind of a toss-up between the two.
Yeah.
Because I would argue, if you're talking wins, Agit Kabayel maybe has a better last 2.
Who's Joseph Parker?
An unfit Martin Bakoli and...
But still dangerous, let's not
Jili
forget.
Zhang, and then Jili Zhang and... who did Kabayel beat?
Deontay Wilder, wasn't it?
Frank Sanchez.
If you had Parker and Kabayel now, who would you pick? If them two were facing.
That's why I put Parker 4th, because I think Parker beats Kabayel.
Yeah.
But I think there could be an argument to say that Kabayel's last 2 or 3 wins have been of a higher stock than
So
Parker's.
we're going Kabayel...
No, we're going...
5, Parker 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And do you know what? Again, though, Kabayel...
You can easily flip it around.
That's a fighter that you know, 2 years ago... the guy who beat Derek
Chisora in Monaco, yeah.
Was it? I thought it was in Germany.
I think it's in Monaco.
In Europe,
for the European.
Yeah, for the European.
Yeah.
I watched that fight and he was good, but he wasn't, outrageous. But he's another one that another star Riyadh Season's made.
Well, who was it against? Makhmudov, wasn't it?
Makhmudov, Frank Sanchez, Jili Zhang. He is the body snatcher. I know he obviously fought Derek Chisora, but he is.
Literally.
Like the way he works the body and moves his feet.
Should we push him up?
No.
Should we push him up?
No, Parker does deserve it, but
I think from 6 to 10 is where we're going to start to disagree.
Again, style-wise, Kabayel has a style that would be awkward for any heavyweight because he works the body. All these big, tall heavyweights, he's going to cause problems for. I'd love a Kabayel Bakoli fight. I think that'd be a really fun
I think
fight.
it'd be a good style matchup for Usyk as well.
I think Usyk would do him.
He's got that
But
European style.
people always
ain't
say with Usyk that the body's the place to go.
Yeah, but I think the benefit that Kabayel has is when he fights these big, tall fighters.
Yeah, he's underneath them.
He's underneath them and he works so well and he can get into that body really and rip it. So we've all been agreed up to this point. This is where I think it will get controversial.
Yes.
Number 6?
I've got Moses Itauma.
That's high.
I've gone AJ, Anthony Joshua, based on the past. And I still think he's up
I've
there.
gone Anthony Joshua. I think
I'm getting outvoted, yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'm
the reason I've gone for Anthony Joshua is because his only loss of recent is to
1 and 2.
Usyk and to Dubois, 1 and 2.
Yeah, but I think Moses Itauma beats him.
Maybe, but he hasn't shown that in terms of he hasn't got the wins on his record to justify that. We may well do, but I don't think you can say it conclusively. You can feel it, but you can't say it. Well, you can say it. You're more than welcome to.
Yeah, well, I'd have him.
But the thing is, what I've got with AJ is people were talking about that Franklin fight, the Ottawa and Ngannou. He's back. The AJ of old is back. We all saw what happened on that September night in Wembley, and that's why I've put him there, just off the basis of I think he still beats people below him. 6, 7, or 7, 8, 9, 10. I think he beats.
I think
at the moment.
he beats everyone in my list, and the least confident I would be of him beating would be Moses Itauma.
Moses Itauma. I don't think so.
You don't think he beats Itauma? Do you think he beats Itauma? If they set it up this year, who wins?
Itauma for activity. If you give AJ some time, fight or two.
They're setting it up in September.
Okay.
Who wins?
Ooh.
I wouldn't say Moses Itauma wins that fight because I just don't think you can say that. I think that it would be a really difficult fight for Itauma.
He's skirting around it.
We got any splinters
You
yet?
don't want to give an answer.
No.
You got splinters, mate.
I would say
AJ or Moses is your answer now. No, I would say.
it's so hard. I think AJ would have to be the favourite.
Okay.
So you'd go AJ.
Yeah, just about.
I think everyone's on the hype train at the moment. And Moses Itauma.
yeah.
Well, I've
Rightly
got-
so as well.
I've got Joshua at 7.
Okay, so
who gets
that
away?
works. In at number 7 for you.
Filip Hrgovic.
A 7?
Yeah. I know.
7, not 17.
Really? Okay. No, you haven't got him in your top 10.
7.
I still think.
He's not in my
think.
top 10.
That's mad.
Really?
No way
I
is he
still
in my
think
top 10.
Filip Hrgovic is
No.
is a good heavyweight.
I'd have Hrgovic about.
My number 7.
14.
My number 7 beats Hrgovic.
Okay. who's
Lawrence
that?
Coley.
I like that.
Coley's not even in my top 10.
I didn't even.
He's a 2-weight division champ.
Coley was
Not a
my number
heavyweight.
10. If you didn't take my Fury.
He's
So,
done nothing at heavyweight.
Well, he's won a fight by stoppage.
I think
He's done what he had
I
to
think
do.
Hrgovic goes in 7 for me because I'll
Yeah,
give
no,
away my 8 now.
I'm not entertaining
No,
Hrgovic
okay, fair
in the
enough.
list. I'm not.
Really?
Hrgovic
No,
top
no,
10.
Really?
No,
but
no.
you said a timer at 6.
Let's stick that
I'd
Fijian. Let's
stick
stick
with
the
that.
Fijian guy, Teramo Wannabe. Let's stick him in there.
Okay.
Nah, all jokes aside, I can't get behind Hrgovic. in the top
Hrgovic
10.
is a decent heavyweight. He's not top 10 heavyweight.
He's not a top 10 heavyweight.
Fair enough.
So what have we got so far?
I think we're going to have to go for Moses Itauma. Because you said Lawrence Okoli doesn't make your list. Lawrence Okoli's your number 10.
Yeah.
So I can't then justify.
Wait, he was my 11. He was my
You
11.
got Coley or you got Moses.
I've got Moses Itauma 8.
Yeah.
And you've got him 8? Or not?
Yes,
I
I've got
thought
him.
you didn't have him in his top 10.
I've got a timer in my list.
So Itoma's going
But
to
I
have
tell
to
you,
be
who I've got
number
above
7. Who?
a timer. If we're putting him at 7,
Yeah.
don't come at me. Zhilei Zhang. I think I've put him in my top 10. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, we might have to find a new host. I don't know about this. No, I can't get behind that again. And
You
do you know what?
Hrgovic and
Hrgovic and him
Do
in
you know
the
what?
top
The
10.
thing is,
I
I
think
completely-
Hrgovic mine beats. I'm not going to say.
Hrgovic and... No, go on. I want to
The clip there. I'm not going to say because you do me dirty. With
No,
the
do you know what?
clip.
It's fair because they've shown a level that some of these fighters haven't yet shown at some point in their career, but they're currently showing a level below.
Hergovic's like a interim also, like ranked number 2, number 3 in some of the governing bodies.
It's the IBF, innit?
See, I'm going off the governing bodies here, which these two aren't. And I'm going from the WBC ranking.
In fair enough,
the
IBF, the governing bodies have always been reasonable. They've never done anything silly. They wouldn't sanction a 4-year, 5-year retired fighter back in a world title fight, would they?
Wait, what? I've got Mike Tyson as
Jake Paul. Is Jake Paul made the list?
Well, when he fought Tyson, he would have been number 1, obviously. So we got
my guy Moses is
number 8. No?
So we've done 7. Moses Itauma. So who's in at number 8?
Fabio Wardley. What about him?
So I've got Wardley in at 9.
Oh,
I haven't got Wardley on my list.
really?
And I've got Okolie in at 7.
I've got.
I want Fabio Wardley in our top 10.
I've
got at 8. I've got a fit Martin McCauley.
Nah, I can't get behind that.
The problem with that is, I'd argue a fit Martin Okolie is higher than that. An unfit Martin Okolie is lower than that.
What's he proven though? Against Ajagba, he was like
Martin McCauley who fought Jared Anderson. I've got at 8.
The Martin Okolie, if you stuck Fabio Wardley,
but that was before he had the big money fights.
If you stuck Fabio Wardley in front of that Martin Okolie on that night, I wouldn't have been confident for Wardley. This is a Wardley, you got to remember, that got a points decision draw against Fraser Clark.
Yeah.
Some people, including myself, had as a loss, albeit he then came in and smoked him. But I struggle to put a Martin Okolie in. I love Okolie. People know, I love Okolie.
At the moment, Okolie's 11, 10,
So
13.
have you got at 8?
Wardley.
I've got Wardley in
got-
at 9. But where's Lawrence Okolie come into this? The man is a 2-weight world champion.
He hasn't fought.
I don't think he's done anything
I don't
at
think
heavyweight,
he hasn't done anything at heavyweight though to prove himself yet.
He's fighting Dillian White next.
Yeah, okay, but
That's not this weekend, is it? They surely
Right,
would have
so-
done.
No, they.
No.
Naoya
hasn't been announced.
Inoue announces tomorrow he's moving up
It
to...
will be announced.
Naoya Inoue announces tomorrow he's moving up to featherweight. Is he the number 1 featherweight in the world?
Yeah.
He is, isn't he?
No.
He is.
Yeah, but you can't.
Are we going on?
compare Inoue to Okolie?
What have you got with
Inoue's
Okolie
like
in your
a
top 10 though?
5-weight world champion.
Okay, Okolie versus... the way I did it, Okolie versus Wardley. Who wins that fight?
They won't fight because it's Queensbury versus
Yes,
Queensbury.
but who wins that fight?
We can't put that in our thought
If you had to
process.
put your money where your mouth is, with the AJ one, we said it.
Draw.
Wardley.
You think Wardley beats him? The size difference
I'm
between those
not
two
confident.
is... You know how big Okolie is. To
Okolie.
suggest that man is ever not a heavyweight
I'm gonna
outrageous.
let you two decide because we're gonna be here for half hour otherwise.
Lawrence Okolie is a heavyweight fighter at cruiserweight his whole career. The guy is huge.
So 8 is Wardley.
I'm going to have to give it in because you've got Wardley and I've got Wardley in 9 and you've got Okolie in 10.
Yeah.
But
Jalilov. What about him? The Uzbekistan fighter.
not shown enough yet, I don't think.
But
He's
Okolie's
fighting
the same argument there, though.
No, Jalilov's not shown enough yet as a pro.
Okay.
Okolie's shown plenty as a pro, not a
Yeah.
heavyweight. I can.
So who are you picking
I
out?
suppose he did lose to.
I'll be
Dylan
shocked,
Smith.
Ryan, if he hasn't put Richard Riakko in his
Cruiserweight,
heavyweight list.
He's
Top
not
10, no?
He's not in there. I'll submit for Fabio Wardley.
Okay.
Fabio Wardley at 8.
But I'm not
Above
happy with
Martin
it.
Okolie.
Yeah. I think Fabio Wardley beats Martin Okolie.
Fabio Wardley win against Fraser Clark more impressive than win against Jared Anderson. It's hard to say, but I just think Okolie's on a slide at the minute, and
Okay.
this is my
Who's hungrier? That's why I'm basing it off.
Okolie by the looks of things.
not in that context.
Okolie's got my kind of.
Yeah. No, but what I mean is, who's
He's
got the
starving.
hunger that wants to be a world champion? And for
Yeah.
me, Okolie's looking at what his bank balance is instead of looking at.
You're going to have to be the decider here.
So who am I choosing between?
Wardley and
Okolie.
Okolie.
Okolie can't
Wardley.
be anywhere near.
Wardley in at 8. Oh, I don't like it, but I'll have to. And then who goes in at 9?
Who have you two got at 9?
Well, I've got Wardley, so Okolie is who I'm still trying to get on the list.
Who have you got at 9?
Are you aware of who? Mate, the list's right there.
I know. Hang on.
So you've got Moses. Anyone?
I've got Justice Hooney.
At 9. But he's a prospect, though, isn't he? When you think about
He's
it.
fighting Wardley next.
I think that was my argument of when I was writing this down. I was going to put Wardley at 10 because then I would have said that this weekend's fight between him and Justice
Yeah,
Inu
yeah.
would decide the top 10. Who are you going with?
Well, I've got Hooney. At the minute, you've got a choice of Hooney or Akoli.
Or whoever, if there's any names you have left.
Well, I'll go... Hooney in the top 10 doesn't feel right.
Remember whose hand you've shaken.
And it was bruised for a couple of days, and I felt a bone break. Lawrence Akoli, he hasn't proven himself at heavyweight yet. All right, cruiserweight, brilliant, but
Okay.
heavyweight yet.
When he beats Dillian White, is he top 10?
I think he beats Dillian White comfortably.
And do you then put him in top 10?
What about Derek Chisora? Put Akoli as 9-ness.
Yes, I'm happy with that.
And who have you got as 10?
Shalalov.
Really?
Yeah.
Who do you got?
Richard Torres Jr.
Yes.
Really?
Come on. A win against Guido Vianello is
Fair play.
the most impressive win in the 10 to 20 rankings.
And he's an
mark.
American heavyweight, something that
Aura.
we need a big
You
American
automatically
heavyweight.
get points if you're American.
He's a new
Yeah.
and he's that new little style of heavyweights that we're getting.
Trying to think. So what heavyweights
squeeze in
haven't we?
Richard Torres Jr.
What heavyweights haven't we included?
Martin Bacoli hasn't made the list.
How
was
Chile
Bacoli
Zhang.
not going in top 10?
Ajagba.
It's outrageous to be
Well,
fair.
Zhang, Hergovich.
But Bacoli did lose to Ajagba.
He did. So I would even make the argument of Ajagba.
Wait, was it an official loss?
No, it was
a
a draw,
draw,
wasn't it? But he
95,
did, but he
95.
did
Didn't
lose.
lose,
He did lose.
Didn't lose.
So Deontay Wilder, he's past it.
Spent.
Yeah. Dillian White, nowhere
No,
near.
Chisora, no.
Chisora, no. Murat Gassiev,
Nah, not got the wins. Recent history. I
Otto
think.
Wallin,
We're
no.
sticking with that 10.
So what's our 10? Name our 10.
I'm not happy with it, but we're going to have to.
I'm not happy
Right.
that Akoli's in it, but oh well.
The official Puncher's Chance top 10 heavyweights in the world. Number 1, Oleksander Usyk. Number 2, Daniel Dubois. Number 3, not retired Tyson Fury. Number 4, Joseph Parker. 5, Agit Kabayel. 6, Anthony Joshua. 7, Moses Itauma. 8, Fabio Wardley. 9, Lawrence Akoli. And number 10, Richard Torres Jr. I remember why we didn't do these lists.
Because
That's
we're all
not bad,
we don't know how to come back at each other now. Because
I'm not
we've all
mad at it. I'm not
disagreed.
mad at it.
I like that
move-
Richard Torres Jr. He didn't come into my
You
thought
move
process at all.
Atomer up. You put Bacoli in the top 10. I think that's all right.
See, I think you move Itouma down.
I think Thomas too high up. On
I
that
think
list.
it's-
I'm
Atomer's
gonna
too high.
remember
I'm
this
happy,
when he's
yeah.
a undisputed
Yeah, but
heavyweight
it's
champion.
now. It's now.
Well, apparently he's fighting on.
I'm
the,
not putting. I'm sure there was someone born a few days ago that will fight as a heavyweight boxer, but they're not making.
I
the
haven't
list
seen him yet,
because
though,
they're
so he
future.
can't go on my list.
Okay. Yeah, it's happened. It's happened. We've done that. You look shell shocked.
Yeah, I just can't believe when I said Philip
like you've seen a
Hergovich
ghost.
and Zhang, you all looked at me and went, "What the hell's this idiot talking about?"
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
Yeah, maybe about 3 years ago.
Yeah. I can't get behind Sang. Hergovich. I just don't think he's shown the levels since.
But they are in the top percentage of heavyweights.
I
right?
don't.
They're not at that part in their career where they're the sort of fighter you give to a timer
Yeah.
to get through.
I struggle with the Wardley shout to a degree, but also I just don't know who else deserves it.
Well, you wanted Hooney though, and who's really Hooney for?
I think when Wardley or Hooney win,
That's
whoever is in there,
That's why the
whoever wins
argument-
that will deserve
That's
it.
why I wanted
So I
to actually
suppose-
maybe have Wardley at 10 because then the winner of that.
So I suppose who do you think's going to win that? We'll obviously find out next episode. Then that's who probably deserves it. So if we're saying that Wardley probably wins that one, maybe then he goes in there. But hey, fair play. That's the list.
Do you know the annoying thing is now, Mike? We've probably missed out one big name in the heavyweight division that everyone's watching at home, and you're like, "You idiots! What are you doing?"
Hey, if you do think so, let
you
us know in
agree
the
with us,
comments.
yeah.
And tell us your top 10 lists. Let us know where we went wrong, where we were right. Tell us who was the most right out of the three of us, because it's always a competition. All that good stuff, either in the Spotify comments or the YouTube comments, or tweet us if you want. Follow us while you're there, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. As mentioned at the start, check out the sponsor for today's episode. And other than that, we'll see you all later in the week for what's going to be the most busy, difficult, tiring preview ever. So many fights, so subscribe for that. Thank you all. We'll see you all later in the week.
Puncher's Chance. Puncher's Chance podcast.